What is up, bros? We Josh here, and today's video is all about the currently work in progress Tier 10 French Destroyer, the Kleber. Now, this thing is insane. I can't express how just absolutely nutty this destroyer is. It's so much fun to play, yet it is just pretty dang strong. We'll look over the stats, we'll show some gameplay, and we'll compare it to kind of what else is at Tier 10 right now. But a couple of things though. First, let's look at the captain build so you know what I'm dealing with, and some of the values will obviously be changed because of this. But priority target, last stand, and as you see right here, I went with a bit more of a fun farming build. I went with BFT to help with the guns, and I went with Demo Expert to help with obviously the fire chance. As you see, I gave up a little bit of survivability with Survivability Expert, and we went with priority target, or sorry, Concealment Expert, and then Inertia Fuse, and then of course Adrenaline Rush on top. Things that could have easily switched over is we could have gone for expert marksmanship to help out a little bit. Didn't really see the need of it. Obviously could have got a tad more for survivability expert. Again, could have switched in superintendent as well. I didn't quite see the need for it because games in this ship tended to go extremely quick, so we didn't seem to really need it. This is the build I went with though. Found it to be a lot of fun, and obviously that will affect some of the values when we look at them. Modules though, as you see right here, this is what we're running as well for upgrades. We went with the range module here. Now, one of the things I've seen a lot of people do is take AFT and then take the reload booster. I found, to me, it was nice to just pass up a couple of the captain points so I could move them elsewhere and then pick up this, because if you take AFT and Inertia Fuse, you give up basically Demo Expert, Adrenaline Rush, and BFT, because I would want Inertia Fuse and Concealment Expert also. I did see some people also running just pure gunboat on this with range, and then they drop concealment so they could pick up other stuff. I didn't quite like that. This is just what I went with, but I went with range module, then took BFT, demo, all that kind of stuff. I did see other people taking the reload module here and then took AFT. So there is a way you can switch around. It's going to be up to how you like to play this. But of course, concealment, rudder shift. Some people did go with the steering gears here for that super aggro build. I didn't quite like that, and we'll kind of get into that in a second. Aiming system mod 1, obviously propulsion, and then aiming mod right here. So the health pool on this ship is pretty nice. It's a big destroyer. It's almost cruiser size. Well, not, I guess not quite cruiser size, but it's a large destroyer as you kind of compare it to the Hiragumo. Hiragumo is also quite big. It's not quite as big as the Hiragumo, but still a large destroyer. One of the upsides about this is the size of this DD, which we see in the Hiragumo as well as the Khabarovsk, is the Kleber does not take battleship AP. It doesn't take that big AP damage that those destroyers do. Will that change in the future? We don't know, but this one was kind of nice, so you just basically take that overpen damage of the max of 10%. HP points though, 21,900. Again, we could get up to about 25k if we took survivability expert, but we didn't. But I thought 22,000 was actually quite nice. One of the main things I've seen kind of some critiques on this ship is that if it's focused by a CV, you will kind of get burnt down fairly quickly. One of the things is you have a lot of speed, and basically any destroyer that gets focused on by CVs will die. So I didn't think that was the best defense for it. It's a gunboat though, so you do have to be careful that you do have a set amount of life, and you do not get heals on this ship. It's basically just the speed boost as well as the reload consumable and repair. There is no heals. What you see is what you get. There's no healing over time. Main battery, 8 shells of 139. Again, we have the boost, but at 6.3 seconds. Pretty dang nice. It would be 7-second normally. And a max dispersion didn't really seem to be a problem. Again, affected a little bit by the aiming mod. And then a 11% fire chance. I think it would be 12% base, but we took Inertia Fuse and then Demo Expert, so we're only down 1. Then AP shells, 840 meters per second, 840 for HE as well. The HE pen, 29%, helping you do damage. Again, that is with the Inertia Fuse. Now the torps on this thing are comical. It almost seems like the torpedo beats mode when we saw just these insane speeds of torpedoes. These ones are kind of the same. 70-second reload, 4 sets of 3. So there's 2 on each side, as you can see right here. And then the speed of these, 8-kilometer range on those, 75 knots. 75 knots. This thing is an absolute beast. And this is one of the reasons why I really like taking Concealment Expert and the Concealment Module, as some people haven't been taking, is because if you go down low on life, you can still be a pretty good torp boat. as crazy as that sounds, you have the ability to just go dark on this ship because of the concealment is incredibly low for a ship like this, and you can just pump out these torps that pretty much people can't avoid. Yeah, 4 sets of 3, so you're sending out 6 on each side, 18,400 on the max roll, and then 1.4 kilometer detection by sea. But they're going 75 knots, the fastest torp in this game, outside of the make-believe torpedo beats game. These are freaking crazy. These are insane. Also, if you do hunt down some CVs and they're not moving quickly, you're going to hit torps on those. So there you go. AA on this. It's not a super AA beast. You will shoot down a couple of them, and if a CV is smart, they will focus you. You did definitely see that. Not only was there the kill the streamer / kill the new ship aspect of testing out this, but a CV is going to be focusing this ship if they're smart, because this will be a nightmare to deal with because of just how fast it is. However, the ship is so fast, it's not the easiest thing to really deal with. I did see a lot of CVs missing a lot, but rocket planes will just beat this up over time. I mean, it's just a matter of time. The maneuverability, okay, so the speed on this is pretty nuts. 44 knots on the speed. Just for a heads up, these are the flags we are running, only the detonation, so we could get more fire chance out of these flags, we get more speed, but I just want to show you that I don't have anything else that's impacting this ship. So we could have some different values here, but 44 knots on the speed, that is a knot faster than the Caba. And so the Caba is known as being the gunboat open water ship. Well, the Kleber kind of laughs at you and says, not anymore. This is my zone. Main reason being, so we click back over to that module. Yeah, that speed boost is the French speed boost. 20% max speed bonus. 20%. You are getting almost 55 knots of speed in this destroyer. The Caba, known as being the speed demon in the ocean, gets 8%. You're not even 40, what? 46, 47 with the flag, maybe. Shima also extremely fast, but not quite as fast. Again, with 8%. The Kleber is so quick. With that speed, I found I was actually able to take on caps early, put pressure on caps. And if there is a CV that goes anywhere near a friendly CV that assists you on a cap, you can basically guarantee a DD kill every game, basically. Because one, you go in, you spot the destroyer, or the CV spots the DD, you pop your T key, you murder whatever DD comes in, they smoke up, you pump in torps that are 75 knots. I hit a low yang in torp that was sonaring me because these torps were so quick. It's disgusting. This ship is insane. One of the things too I really like about this is usually when you play a DD like this, you kind of give up some stealth, if you will. Open water, you're going to be shooting your guns a lot. Usually your detection is pretty high. This is one thing I think they'll end up changing on the ship, is the detectability by sea at 6.3 kilometers. This is pretty I think this is quite overpowered for this type of ship. If this ship finds something, there's nothing that's going to out DPM this ship. They're going to hit the reload booster. You're going to be able to just wreck. I was tearing gearings for 4 or 5k salvos. Again, that was every you take 6.3 seconds, you pop T, you're going to get multiple salvos at 3 seconds. You're going to chunk through a gearing in about 20 seconds. That's disgusting. That's really, really, really fast. So if you find a DD, I even thought about potentially making like a radiolocation captain with this, but still the ship itself doesn't really need it because you'll just eventually find it. Just absolutely nuts. 6.3 detection is so low. Again, that's why I like Concealment Expert. That's why I like the Concealment module in this build, because you can then become that torpedo. Again, 8 kilometers on those torps that are 75 knots. You go low on life, you maybe hold off on your shots and you turn into a gunboat or a torpedo boat because your reload on those torps is only 77 seconds. Again, you have 6 on each side, 77 seconds. But anyways, everything looks awesome on paper. Let's check out some gameplay and show you the ability of this tier 10 monster. So here we are in game with the Kleber, and somebody asked how this ship is, and I just say fast. And you will see, I want you guys to watch that speed. Already, just 15 seconds into the game, we're already 40 knots and climbing. And this is something that allows you to be extremely flexible early. And that's one thing I love about this ship, is the ability to flex from one side of the map to the other extremely fast. Again, we're already at 52 and climbing. We could actually get a little bit faster with the speed flag. Again, we weren't running that. But this ship, we ended up having a game with CVs. The one reason I wanted to show this game overall is the ability for it to flex. Right now, if you have a ship that is fast, it is an absolute luxury to be able to rotate extremely quick. Sides right now, especially in high tiers, are falling very quickly. Ships are kind of dying very quickly. You can, I mean, we've all had the Montana that's just sitting broadside. We've all had the Yamato that is at J10 at the start of the game. That, you know, we all have those games where things are slow on your side, but the other side of the map is a nightmare. So being able to rotate over and have an impact on the game quickly is something that is just an absolute luxury. And this is something that this ship absolutely brings to this table. So right now, one thing too, I normally don't pinch islands, as I would call, as you see, I would call this like pinching an island or pinching the edge. This is something I don't normally do with a ship like a normal DD, like I would a Fletcher, because there's no way you could get there and you might run into a destroyer at the same time and get those torps off. This thing is so fast, you almost kind of want to do that because you will surprise them faster than they'll surprise you. Also, I wanted to try to get angles and spots. This thing is a spotting king. You're going 50 plus knots trying to get some damage in, and here you'll see kind of the first victim of pumping in damage on a DD. And so you're going to see the first couple salvos against that DD, and then using that reload booster to both push down. If that Mogami wouldn't have been there, I probably would have continued to push south here. But just in that split second, we pumped in almost 7,000 on that DD. And here we have all these ships. This is another fantastic thing about this destroyer, is the ability to just distract an entire team. I don't know how many times that priority target counter would be at 4, 5, 6, and people just weren't hitting you because of how fast you are, how quick you can change your speed, all of this. You are the perfect shiny thing. And one thing you'll do is you'll get a lot of ships focusing you, and then you'll see that numbers slowly fall. Like, it's kind of fallen. It's gone from 4 to 2, and you'll kind of see it just, people will just give up because it's so hard to hit. The ship is so extremely hard to hit. Anything going that fast is going to be hard to hit. But anyways, we kind of push this line. We're a huge nuisance, and that's what the ship is extremely good at. Again, the potential damage you'll get in the ship is very, very high. You do need to be careful, though. You are a big destroyer after all, so something extremely accurate. One thing I saw being a really big problem in one game was a Donskoy. Very fast shells, and one thing that a lot of people have seen that picks on this DD is something like the Zao. The Zao, extremely accurate, fast shells. If you can watch people slowly get the speed over time. Obviously, this is something that is very new right now, so people aren't quite used to the speed. But you'll see that people will eventually get caught up and they'll start hitting you a tad more. But that's something that you can still kind of pick on. But cruiser versus DD right now. Yes, we're a tier 10 picking on a tier 8 cruiser. But I saw this with tier 10 cruisers. I saw this with a Wooster in one game where you can kind of just outgun cruisers. And we did run a meme build. We went with AFT and range module. You can get to like 19 kilometers with this ship on the range, which sounds absolutely disgusting. But really, it's not effective. I found the effective range of this ship to be about 15 kilometers. The shells are kind of arky, and shooting something at almost 19k, it's got to be basically stationary, and if something's 19 kilometers away, it's going to be hard to keep it consistently spotted. But right here, this is what I'm talking about. All of those ships are kind of rotated away. They're pushing into that corner. And this is honestly what you want to see in a game, is everything kind of going north away from the cap. But as you saw the other side, we've lost 2 ships. We've lost a Edinburgh and a Hiragumo. And then we have a GK that's pushing in NorCal and a Wooster that's kind of getting pretty far away, but he's pushing in towards mid. I'm like, I need to get over to the other side because we're just losing. We're losing this game. We're going to get flanked. Look how many ships over there compared to what we have. I'm thinking maybe our GK that's pushing in can get to, like, hopefully trade on something. But Shima's there. Something's capping. This is not good for us. But what am I going to do? I'm going to hit the Y key. We're going to speed boost over there, and we're going to go over there and have a big impact. Again, the Shima is going to out-detect us by 0.7 of a kilometer, assuming they have Concealment Expert. That's what it kind of always do. Daring only out-detects us by just a little bit, which seems kind of nuts. One thing I did notice, though, is the AP on this. Remember, these are 139 millimeters, and we are running inertia fuse. So when I was going against ships like the Gearing, a lot of people have asked me about how the AP is on this ship. The AP on this, I think you'll see against the Yamato when later in this fight. The AP is insane against cruisers and battleships and ships like that. However, against destroyers, HE seem to be the go-to because you're just going to full pen on basically every salvo. So that's something that I would keep in mind. I was hoping that maybe the AP would just be these insane salvos, but you tend to just get the overpens because they're fairly big calibers. And right now, too, you're going to see the Daring on my left and me focusing on the Shima. And I remember seeing the you're going like, man, that Wooster's going towards the and here you see the reload. Both me and the Wooster are going to be working them down, but the amount of pressure you can just pump out so quickly on this ship is just next level. It's such a good ship. It really, really is. And if you spot a DD and they're within any amount of like normal range, they're gone. I don't think there's honestly a destroyer that can defend itself. Maybe the Kaba, maybe like a really good Haragumo, like one of these gunboats, but it's not going to be easy for them. And that's assuming they don't take torps, and that's assuming that they survive through the first little bit. This is going to absolutely shred everything else. But instantly, this is the only destroyer that could have got to that situation that quickly. There's no other DD that could have helped kill that Shima like that. None. There's nothing fast enough. So not only do you have the speed, you have the burst ability to take down that destroyer. Now, we could have definitely helped at this point with the Daring, but that Shima, though, I wouldn't say the Shima would have got away. The Wooster may have been able to kill him, but getting there to help that Wooster, to help him then take down the Daring, that ends up going, I think he ends up going dark here. This is something that only this ship could have helped this exact situation. So there's a props to the Kleber right there. So already at 41k, nothing too crazy, but we've basically bounced back and helped bring this game back, unlike any other ship could. So now I think I could have farmed a tad more damage here, but I wanted to show off getting torps in here. But you'll still see me do a ton of damage. 5 fires already, 89 shell hits. Again, we could have had a tad higher fire chance with the flags. But still, you love seeing battleships. You love seeing battleships. You love seeing battle cruisers because double fire on a salvo. The amount of damage. You'll see me go around, pop out one, pop a fire on this, pop a fire on that, pop a fire on this. Because what you're trying to do is really then wait for them to repair the fire and then use that reload and get those sticky fires and keep those fires running. So this actually isn't too scary. It seems a little scary, you know, but good luck to these guys really getting consistent hits on me. One thing I do need to kind of focus, though, is getting spots on these guys. That's one thing I really need to do. I need to focus on that. One of the things, too, I debated doing a torp run. I'm trying to kind of isolate and get away from the Iowa and the Alaska, because we want to take out that radar ship, too. Just kind of want to focus on that and stay out of the secondary range of the GK and don't give them some free damage, because still this thing is extremely hard to hit, but it's not impossible. So that's something we just kind of need to keep in mind. And again, we knew he didn't have a repair, so we did this. So a bit of a bummer. I don't think we end up getting a fire on him. That stuck. But, oh no, we did right there. So, again, trying to get close enough for the Alaska, too. Just basically trying to be eyes, an annoying set of eyes. This is, if you enjoy this kind of open water farming, it seems to be just the pattern of French ships in general. You have the Henri at tier 10 in the cruiser. That is just this open water monster that you kind of have to avoid, but it's so fun to play. Seems like the DDs are going to follow this same path and just be a crazy good farming destroyer. And on top of that, it's just a lot of fun. But I really feel like this ship right now is pretty damn overpowered. the amount of burst damage it can do, the speed, even though you lack survivability because the health pool is smaller. Remember, we didn't take survivability expert. It didn't really matter because, like, it's so hard to hit something going 50 plus knots. It's so quick. You throw on the S key just a little bit, and I think we start shooting some AP once he gives us a bit more of a broadside. I remember one time we were playing and the Yamato gave me basically a perfect broadside. Shout out to this team though. They ended up playing awesome. All I did was just go be an annoyance to them. But I remember one game, I think I pushed into a Yamato and did some damage. And with one reload booster, I think I did like 40k to the Yamato. We just shot the upper armor belt and just absolutely rained down AP on them. The AP in this ship is... The HE is nice. Again, we're almost at 10 fires, and we've been able to do a lot of damage that way. The AP on this is crazy. Is absolutely nutty. This is the only destroyer, honestly, where I wanted to play against Royal Navy cruisers because of its ability to just Citadel. I think you can Citadel a Minotaur. I think it was a Minotaur at 13 kilometers with this ship. So, yeah. One thing I think we did one game too. I think it was with this ship. And I think I switched over to AP here. I'm not sure. Yeah, I switched over to AP. So you'll see the reload booster here. Kind of, I would say, kind of a waste of reload booster, but I wanted to show off the AP damage. But overall, decent damage with HE too. But did I show? I mean, 2K right there at basically max range. You're not going to see the damage because I was a rude boy and switched away. But against anything broadside, you're going to shred. 3,200 on that. Again, with a full reload, we could have done probably 15-20k in a matter of just seconds. And he's going to even turn. We'll continue to get some more damage. It's really hard to try to find a weak point to this ship. You can call out that, yeah, it doesn't have smoke. It doesn't have, maybe lacks survivability. Maybe it's weak against CVs. But I find it hard to really subscribe to calling it because it's weak against CVs. Every destroyer is basically weak against CVs, so I don't really find that to be fair. But I do find that as we go triple salvos, fire to fire to fire to fire, I'm laughing because it's so fun and it's so ridiculous at the same time. Look at all this farming here. Again, in what, past few minutes, we've gone from 40k to 100, almost 140k. If this thing survives to late game, your team's going to hate life, especially if this is on the red one. If you survive to late game, especially if there's no CV in the game, you're going to love life because it's just insane. As you see, our whole team's kind of over there. I'm just applying crossfire and doing damage. That's all I'm trying to do. I could have actually gone to C-cap, but I was being a rude boy and kind of wanted to maybe farm a little bit more damage. You know, it is what it is. But the thing is, too, I have the ability to go and cap. That's one thing you give up a lot when you're in the Khabarovsk, is you give up its ability to be basically a cap contester. That's one thing I don't really like about a lot of these CDs. Like, that's one thing I like a lot about the Grozavoy compared to the Khabarovsk, is its ability to contest caps. When you give up that, I find that if it's Kleber versus, let's say, a Daring or a Gearing or something like that, your team is going to be at kind of a disadvantage if it's a 1DD game because, or let's say Kaba versus that. You're basically down a DD. You're a cruiser. You just accept that fact. This is why I really like the stealth. Taking the concealment expert again here. I remember even talking about I probably could have done a tad more damage with the HE because I was just testing to see how the AP worked against the Turpets. I think he's pretty oversaturated. As you see, we're getting full pens, but we're not getting much damage. He's pretty low, so probably a tad oversaturated, but still 2,500, 2,000 salvos, still not that bad. Probably could have killed him a lot faster though if we were shooting HE in this situation. But that's one thing I like going back to the concealment, taking this. There's a lot of builds. It's going to be up to the individual's play style. But for me, I really just did enjoy the semi-stealth one. Being able to go in and torp if needed was amazing. And really, I remember one game I got down to 2 or 3k extremely quick. And we were able to just go in and just torp. So that was a lot of fun, and it's just nuts. Now, as you see right here too, this is maybe a good defense of being superintendent, picking that up. Again, I'm out of heals and I'm out of reload consumables, so going in with maybe concealment expert would have liked it, but I really did like kind of the aggro style of having BFT. I think BFT is very, very, very good on this ship because it's just your consistent damage, and I really like Demo Expert too because you make up for a lot of what Inertia Fuse takes out. So, and as we continue to get closer, this poor little Alabama is going to go down. So you can't not smile when you play this ship. It's so extremely strong. I think it's way overpowered right now. It's just too fast and too furious. It's insane. But anyways, a nice 190k game. I don't think we've hit 200k yet, but I feel like we could have probably farmed out a little bit more damage in that game if we really wanted to. We were just having some fun. Almost 450 target hits. We got that torp hit at the end, and could have probably done a bit of a YOLO drop on that GK if we wanted to. Definitely could have got some more damage there. And then we had a pretty solid rune, so he took top of the team, and I took a bunch of farm damage. But overall, this ship still work in progress, so stats are subject to change, guys, so just keep that in mind. And just loving every part about this ship. I was very hesitant on the French destroyers. I think I even said, man, this line's going to be kind of useless because it has no smoke. It's just going to get farmed by CVs. In the end, it could be a lot of fun, but I'm worried about what it does to the Russian gunboat lines. It could potentially make them obsolete, so we'll see how this line develops over time. But here it is, the tier 10 Kleber, currently work in progress, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this play style. Would you guys go concealment like I do, or would you guys go more of the pure gunboat, higher detection? I think with the both steering gears, taking away everything, I think the detection goes to 7.7. So you'd have 7.7 kilometer detection and then 8 kilometer torps. Would you rather stick with my setup or go for the more aggro open water farmer like that? I'm interested in what you guys have to say. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.